Today, I'm going to introduce you to Wael Ivie and Tony Burger. These two amazing and patient souls are the driving force behind Arming Cardano, a Fund 4 project seeking support and funding through Project Catalyst. Their work and efforts, along with their growing global team, speaks for itself. So let's get straight to the elevator pitch.
My name is Wael Ivie, and I am the founder of Arming Cardano.
And I am Tony Burger and the co-founder of Arming Cardano.
Excellent. It's nice to meet you guys.
Our mission is pretty simple. It's to provide easy to understand educational resources that will empower people not only to create their own stake pool on Cardano, but hopefully to build and innovate all the new kind of complexities that are going to be coming from dApps to smart contracts to everything. So that's kind of the first to go with our project. Then we have the teach system administration skills. So we need to help others learn skills that are pretty highly sought after and hard to get, as far as like IT, DevOps, a little bit of hardware skills, because we are using Raspberry Pis and single board computers. So you need to know a little bit about electronics and hardware, but not much. So that's another thing we're going to teach. And then we would love to sustain long-term documentation and tutorials through an open source GitHub and Gitbook, along with a YouTube channel that will provide, all these will provide free resources that will be available to all, to help them in their quest on Cardano. And then the last thing is develop a powerful community of low-cost, energy-efficient stake pool operations around the globe. And the way we would love to do this is by creating a stake pool alliance.
Okay. So, well, I've been pretty interested in understanding more about having a stake pool or creating a stake pool. And I know that there's a lot of well-funded and high-end people that can really roll one in and have the marketing already in place. So for a newer person like myself, you're helping me get in the door at a much lower cost, right? So tell me a little bit more about that. Help me understand what that means, either in dollar terms or just in effort.
The Raspberry Pis are essentially, it's kind of like getting your foot wet. You can buy one at a time. You can learn how to set up one node at a time and just kind of go as you feel comfortable. And we are providing the resources on actually how to set up the stake pool on a Raspberry Pi, including all the way to how to even get the Raspberry Pi to first boot and start up and run off of, like, for example, a USB external storage device. In my opinion, it teaches you a lot more about how the Cardano system actually runs, because we're running on the base minimum requirements every time. And we're doing them on a Linux machine that isn't really fully supported by IOHK right now. So what we're teaching you is literally worst case scenario, like you can build a Cardano stake pool anywhere kind of thing. When you know how to do it on a Pi, you'll know how to do it on a bigger computer. Also, we like to help with the marketing of the website. That's something that's being done right now. That's a little bit more stake pool focused, not so much tutorial. That's just to help new guys get started. And then obviously the main thing is an alliance. We like to form an alliance. And then hopefully some of us will actually get enough ADA to just start dumping ADA into smaller Raspberry Pi stake pools that are focused on decentralization and low cost and basically low cost of barriers to entry. I want to lower those barriers to entry. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, understanding you have an IT background. Is that where your major role part is in?
I mean, for the most of my career, I've been doing development, programmer analyst type stuff. As far as this project goes, it's really, for us, I had the ability and the resources to get the necessary hardware and the deposits for ADA, because there is an ADA deposit for starting the stake pool. and then a pledge, so you've got to have a decent amount of pledge to get into a pool and kind of make yourself look like a legitimate stake pool. Not that you have to have a ton of pledge, but just, the more pledge, obviously, the more people think you're legitimate. And, with a proof of stake, they want to see, hey, this guy's got skin in the game. And so, I was able to provide that for the team. And so we got the pool up and running, and, it's just kind of grown from there. And, Wael and myself have just been putting together the documentation. I'll go through and bounce stuff off of other Raspberry Pi operators, and I'll come up and say, okay, we had a lot of operators do, this for the network. And so a lot of network questions came up. And so we're like, all right, let's just put together a network tutorial. And boom, we got network stuff out there now. We don't get all these questions in the Telegram groups or the Discord or whatnot. So yeah, it's been fun. Yeah.
All of this come from your proposal?
Yeah.
And you didn't have anybody, it just started with you and then went through.
I just was another human being in the Arming Card. I was, I think, one of the under 100 members for Arming Cardano.
Okay.
And then now it's insane. It's like every other group, you know what I mean? In Project Catalyst and in Cardano spaces in general, they just exploded, especially with the NFT phase. It's really just been driving it up. But yeah, it's just all been from this project. And I asked the community before I used the Arming Cardano, I asked in the Telegram chat, I was like, guys, I'm about to make a proposal. I'm going to use Arming Cardano, and because this is about us. So I was like, and then and that's kind of like how it started. And then,
so Wael, it sounds like this is much more global now. You're actually reaching out and seeing more than just Tony on the East Coast, right?
It's very true. We actually have partners all around the globe right now that are working with us on AdaPi project and in general, just in the Arming Cardano community. This project, we have a few partners that are very close. The first partner that we have that helps a lot with the tutorials is OTG Pool. It's run by Wayne. He goes by WCat is his Telegram handle. He's a very, very hands-on Linux kind of guy. He knows everything about Linux, and he loves Raspberry Pis. And so he's one of our main partners helping tutorials and documentation. And then we have Alessandro and Pascal, who operate Berry Pool. They're in Germany. They're also very close partners and friends. And so it's pretty nice to have them on board, especially they have some notoriety being the first Raspberry Pi state pool. And also Alessandro and his Space Buzz has been a huge hit in the Cardano space lately. So it's been pretty nice to have that partnership. And then we also have, obviously, Tony's over here in the East Coast, along with OTG. And then we also have another very, very hands-on software engineer that's helping us out. His name is Oliver, and he's in Amsterdam. He operates a Raspberry Pi pool called Sub-Layer Pool. And so he does a lot more of the coding tutorials with me and that kind of nerdy stuff. So like the NFT tutorials, smart contracts, he's going to be working with me more on that. And then now we know for sure we have some other state pools that are getting into the mix in other places around the world, like South America, for example.
Well, it sounds like you might have one more called Q in the near future. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, we'd be very excited. And we'd glad to help you in any way.
Excellent. Tell me what turned you on to joining this cause and to helping pull and recruit more people into this, all from the Project Catalyst community.
Yeah, so having a background in IT, I've got a Linux background as well as a Windows background. And so I've had Raspberry Pis over the years. I mean, I've got a 1980s game cabinet in the back bedroom that's running on a Raspberry Pi right now. And so, I was looking around. I came into the Cardano space in probably January, I think, early January, and had purchased some ADA at that time. And I was looking around going, what is this whole proof of stake concept? What's it about and stuff? And so I started looking around, and sure enough, I found the Arming Cardano community. And, I just happened to be in there one day, and Wael's in there going, hey guys, I'm going to start this proposal and get this thing going, and we're going to do like this tutorial stuff. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool. I could use some help here. So I just jumped on board with Wael, and you know, we've been putting stuff together ever since, and it's just blown up like crazy. So it's kind of cool.
That's awesome. Thanks. If I want to put a stake pool on that shelf, I may not be able to get 64 million ADA dedicated to that. But at some point, when the number of ADA per stake pool minimizes and reduces, that stake pool is going to be more valuable because it's going to be proving its worth by having been running for a longer period of time. And you guys are going to see my face and see it sitting there for a while. And somebody out there might say, you know what, I'm going to throw 10,000 ADA into his pool because he's doing something that's of value. I'm going to look at anyone in your alliance and say, you know what, I've got 10 million over here. I'm going to put $1 million to you guys because you guys are putting out more nodes, which is the essence of decentralization, right? So it's not just multiple pools owned by one person, it's multiple pools owned by multiple people. And not just any people, but the people that are coming into this that live in different countries, that live in different places, and it spreads it out into all the different continents and gets it everywhere.
You know, we want to be able to, you know, take like the Africa element of Cardano and say, okay, you know, we know there might be, you know, a lot of low income areas in that community, but they do have Wi-Fi or internet access and the ability to get on the internet and look at documentation. And so we want to be able to take a small community and, you know, get those guys into a stake pool. And once they do that, it's going to grow. I mean, once they get that going and they do that, they're going to be able to teach other people, and it's just going to explode. And I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, you know, as the proof of stake numbers come down and they start having those numbers, it is going to force more decentralization because, you know, the higher stake pool, the higher ADA stake pools are going to get less and less rewards as, you know, as those numbers come down. And so it totally makes sense to get as many decentralized peers as possible on the network, you know, as far as, you know, growing the network and dealing with the future transaction volume coming with smart contracts. I mean, that's a big deal. So, you know, having those nodes and additional peers, it's going to make a big difference. Yeah.
We want to make sure that there's a bunch of other good performing stake pools around the world and they can reach all different parts. And in my opinion, what's easier than a Raspberry Pi? Because I mean, you can run these things off of solar panels. You can do whatever you want with Raspberry Pi. They're small. And yeah, in fact, if we ever got enough money, it would be amazing to actually help people, you know, provide them even the pies or something, you know, or have like a little donation drive, like a hardware, like a food drive, but like for hardware. So maybe we know that there's some people that are capable of doing it, but they just don't have the extra money to spend on, you know, buying the pies, and maybe they want to keep it in a secure location. So they want to have like a little office room with like proper internet coming in, you know? So there's some things you got to take into consideration, but for the most part, it should be very accessible. And that's what we're hoping for with teaching people how to use a Raspberry Pi and, you know, operating a stake pool on it.
Well, Tony, how do we get a hold of you? Obviously, you're going to give me your links. We're going to throw all that down in the bottom. We're going to scream at people to smash the like button and then subscribe and all that. I'm learning how to do that. But how can we get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach out to you guys?
Right now, the best places to start with is you can go to our website, the ada-pi.io. On there, you'll find our links to all our social media. Discord, we're pretty active on Discord, and then Telegram on the Arming Cardano Telegram channel. And then if not, you can also email us. The email contacts on there on the website as well. YouTube, you can go onto YouTube and just comment on the video. We've been replying back to everybody, and yeah, so any way you can reach out to us, we're pretty much open in many different media.
So yeah, go to ada-pi.io, dude. That's like, we've got everything up there. That'll get you to wherever you need to go.
Okay, great. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. All right. Any last words? Any last comments?
No, it's been really a great interview, and thank you for bringing us on. It was, you know, pretty awesome. It's our first interview in the Cardano space, so
okay.
You know, hopefully we'll be more with. It's pretty cool. Good experience.
I'm quite sure this is not going to be your house's last. This is you guys have got things moving forward in the right direction, and
woo!
There it is. This project is a testament to the power of Project Catalyst. From a single well presented idea in Fund 4 to a global network of like minded individuals focused on getting low cost, energy efficient Cardano nodes set up around the globe using Raspberry Pis. Thanks to both of you for taking time to educate this non technical guy and build my confidence. It is feeling very likely that over my shoulder in future videos, there will be a fully functioning Raspberry Pi stake pool doing its part for global decentralization. Check the links below and get all the details that you will need to build your own stake pool. Support the budding alliance of RPI SPOs, and most importantly, get on IdeaScale. Read this proposal and any other out there that interests you. Get involved, and soon enough, you and I may find ourselves screen to screen making your own elevator pitch. Thanks times infinity plus one, you are all amazing.